Well, take us on to the next topic of gifts to support specific staff members and love offerings. I like that first question. What's love got to do with it? Yes. But talk to us about that.
Yeah. So what's love got to do with it? With the love gift? Well, part of that is we frequently hear about love offerings. And talk about that within the sector, but it's not something that's technically defined of what is a love gift, and different people will mean different things by a love gift. And generally speaking, we're talking about gifts to a pastor or payments or donations to a pastor, and generally earmarked for a pastor. But if you want to really get a good look at the analytical framework around love gifts, I would encourage you to go out to the Commission website that we talked about earlier. You can get to it from the ECFA website, or you can go to religiouspolicycommission.org. Michael Mosher has written a great article called "What's Love Got to Do with It?" All about love offerings and the different legal scenarios that might be encountered with a love offering. There's really two aspects of it. First of all, is it a charitable contribution when you have a love offering? And second, is it taxable compensation to the pastor? The first aspect, is it a charitable contribution? Well, unless, and I'm going to assume that it's a gift being given to the church, unless you have a situation where you have an established donor or pastor appreciation fund with multiple pastors being involved, that might be one aspect, and we'll kind of come back to that. But generally speaking, when you give a gift earmarked for the benefit of the pastor or a specified individual, it's not a charitable contribution. If you give a gift that might be for pastor appreciation, and we're not talking just about one pastor, all the pastors of the church, there's a more aggressive argument that could be made in that area. And that's probably something that each individual, each donor or giver needs to address with their tax preparer on that level. But the other issue is the taxability. Unless that individual just ran into the church, gave the cash to the pastor, ran out, and never been to the church before and never been to the church after, that's generally probably going to be taxable compensation to the pastor.
Do you see that happen a lot? People run in the church and give money to the pastor and then run out?
I've not seen it yet, but my pastor's still waiting. But if you run into a random church and do that, you might have an argument there. But it's one of those aspects that is an opportunity for a pastor to step up. And we're not talking about $25 gift card at Christmas time that you would do, generally speaking, as a gift from a person in a congregation to a pastor. That's not taxable compensation, generally speaking. That's a gift, or it might be for a birthday. But we're talking about highly organized and regular gifts that are being collected for the benefit of a specified pastor. And generally speaking, those would not be excluded from taxable income. And so you want to work through that. And that's a giver congregation education moment. If you get a check that comes in that way, and they say, well, we want to designate that for Pastor Bill because he's really been doing a great job, and we just love Pastor Bill. Well, that's absolutely fine. But you probably want to just let them know that that's not a charitable contribution deduction, and you'd include that then in the taxable compensation.